Peace and power to the descendants of my ancient mother. My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. What up, what up, what up? If you're joining us on YouTube, my TikTok is BIG, BROLGND. The same way it is spelled on YouTube, it is on TikTok. But we are also going to go live on YouTube. So just going to set that up real quick. What up, y'all? Once we get to 2K likes, we're going to ask people to come up and talk to us. Brothers and sisters, tap like. Tap like if you got a big forehead and you wear a bonnet to bed. Tap like if, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some new stuff. Tap like if you don't put breadcrumbs in meatloaf. If you do not do that, tap like. Tap like if you've never had a scone a day in your life. If you have never had a scone a day in your life, then tap like. Tap like if you've never had grape salad. If you've never had grape salad, I need y'all to tap like if you only eat raisins as a standalone snack or maybe in some cereal, but nothing else. If the only time you eat raisins is as a snack by itself and never in your potato salad, then I need you to tap like. Share the live with someone that is familiar with the smell of Dax and Blue Magic hair grease. I need you to tap like. Raisins be hitting? No, they don't. Raisins do not be hitting in some potato salad. Tap like if you can cut your macaroni and cheese with a spatula. If you cut your macaroni and cheese with a spatula, tap like. If your macaroni and cheese sticks together, you know what I'm saying? If your macaroni and cheese sticks together like we need to, then I need you to tap like. Tap like if you think Kendrick Lamar won the battle, then I need you to tap like. Or share the live. Share the live, share the live. I'm interested to hear what some of y'all have to say about the topics up above me. So please tap like so we can get to 2K likes. And then once we're at 2K, I let people come up and we'll have a discussion. We're also going to broadcast this on YouTube. So if you want to see our fact checker, I have a screen that comes up on YouTube where you can see, what we're talking about. Maybe I got to pull up some receipts. If that becomes the case, you'll see it on YouTube. You can go on YouTube real quick, BIGBROLGND. And you can see what sources we pull up, because we gotta fact check things. I even have to fact check myself. You know what I'm saying? So, we're not all political science geniuses. So, we have that here, so everyone can be on the same page with things. You can also join our Discord. The link is in my bio. B1initiative.org is a 501c3 nonprofit building Sankofapedia. Sankofapedia is a free Afrocentric online resource to teach world history to our people through an Afrocentric perspective. All right, I'm going to read some of the comments till we get to 2K likes. Pro-life is J. I don't know. I don't want to read that. You're saying words I'm not even supposed to say up here. You can't be pro-black and anti-feminist unless you want black men to be happy. I'm not sure about this. Hold on. Let me think about this. You can't be pro-black and anti-feminist unless you just want black men to be happy. I don't get it. I don't even understand that sentence because there's too many contradictions there. So feminism was created by white women in the Klan. So they were in the Klan. So you can be pro-black and anti-feminist. They were in the Klan. So that right there is already a contradiction in itself, right? And then it says, unless you just want black men to be happy, I don't see how. I don't see it. So you're saying, I don't know. Black men aren't happy unless black women are happy. You heard me? Do the black women understand what I'm trying to say? Black men are not happy unless the black woman is happy. Ain't gonna be no separate liberation struggle where the men leave the women behind and they're off, free from oppression, and our women stay oppressed. That will never work for us. It never worked for us historically. That is something that the white community got going on in their community, but they're the reason for the problem in our community in the first place. So that's what they got going on. Their men oppress their women. They really don't. Their women just like to try to use oppression to gain access to our affirmative action and gain access to the welfare system and different things that black people had to fight to get, right, access to. They like to paint themselves as some minority when really they're a majority. So, they're a majority. The largest demographic in America is white women. Yet they get the benefits of being a minority, even though they have been lock and step white supremacists the whole time America has been a country. They've been right there with their man. All right, so we're going to bring some people up. I'm going to let some people come up and talk. One of y'all have a real disrespectful name. I'm not sure what's up with that.
What's happening, bro?
Hi, moderator. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Sure. 27, Caucasian, white. Can I say white on here? I guess.
Yes.
And the pronouns he, him. Yeah.
All right, talk to us.
I'm a little confused. Like, you're saying because feminism originated by somebody in the KKK, that means that feminism is racist? But if somebody in the KKK had developed a stapler, would you then say that the stapler can't staple paper?
I'm sorry, moderator. Can you not say the letters? You're going to get me in trouble. Say triple K.
Snap. Yeah, my bad.
Or the Klan, like me.
Yeah, the Klan. Yeah, the Klan. So, I mean, if feminism, right, originated in the Klan, by somebody in the Klan, does that necessarily mean then that idea itself is then racist?
Yes.
If the stapler was developed in the Klan, then a stapler is racist.
A stapler is not an ideology or a liberation struggle, is it?
No. So let's keep the same thing. So if the idea of Buddhism was developed in the Klan, would that then be racist?
You're comparing an inanimate object that can be used by anybody to an actual like ideology,
Ideology,
a way
yeah.
to think, like that's much different.
I'll relate it to ideology then. So if Buddhism as it exists right now in its totality was developed by somebody in the clan, would then Buddhism now officially be racist?
Uh, Buddhism as a spiritual practice, how is it racist? What was your qualification for that?
The only qualification for it being racist is it was developed by somebody who was in the clan.
If Buddhism was created by someone in the clan in this hypothetical scenario, then yes, it would be racist.
So nothing with Buddhism, any of its teachings, practices, nothing would have changed other than the original person who came up with it was just a clans member. That would make the whole entire ideology different. It would make it racist.
If it started with the clan, then I wouldn't be able to, like, my imagination doesn't go this far. I really hate hypotheticals in the first place. But if it was started by the clan, then it wouldn't, and it was supported by the clan, right? It wouldn't be something that would be adversarial to the best interests of the survival of the clan. So Buddhism itself, as it exists today, would be adversarial to the interests of the clan. You can't be in the clan and look at everyone as human, right? Like that's completely antithetical. So if we're going to say that someone in the clan created it, then I would assume that they would have to create it in order to protect their ideology of white tea supremacy, where it would be corrupt. It wouldn't be the same Buddhism we know today. Like the Buddhism we know today would only be created by non-Europeans.
So your justification for saying that it is then racist just because it was developed by somebody in the clan, and that you assume it has to be developed in a way that supports the clan, but the problem is that feminism is supposed to give women equal rights. Most clans members, like the majority of clans members, like managing partners, 100% like male. So if the managing class of the clans members are all male, why would feminism help them continue to have power?
Um, I'm not understanding your question, my friend.
I could say it a lot shorter. The managing people, the people in power in the clan, were the men. Why would feminism help them?
Why would feminism help the clan?
Yeah.
Well, there's many reasons. I mean, since the Willie Lynch letters were written, it's always been the goal of the white supremacists to divide the black community by pitting man against woman, light skin against dark skin, house need to grow versus field need to grow, against each other. So it falls in line with the actions taken by the Klan and white slave masters that would sell us off and make it illegal for black men and black women to marry each other. So ever since Africans were brought to the Americas, the goal has always been to divide the man from the woman and to have to create a sort of resentment there by giving one more proximity to resources and concessions of oppression than the other. So when we're talking about feminism, we're talking about an ideology, a political ideology that addresses problems that may have been problems in the white community, but the idea that feminism is something that has benefited black women is false. I know a lot of people believe that today, but I speak to a lot of black women that agree. They don't believe that. Feminism is something that's always used black women for their numbers to vote. And, it's something that was used to co-opt the civil rights movement, but it's never been something that actually cared about all women, because when they talk about women's rights in 1929, when women got the right to vote, black women did not get that right. So it was never about women. It was always about white women, which is what's going to benefit the Klan because, the Klan includes white women, like the white women that created feminism.
All right, so I mean, from that, feminism is a dividing factor that's dividing um, African American men and women, is what we're saying with this. Now that's the issue right there. So how does it do that?
By vilifying black men the same way, or actually projecting onto black men the ways that white men have oppressed women in Europe, by projecting that onto black men. So white woman says, because my man is the problem to me, I'm going to go to black women and tell them that their man is the problem for them. Even though the black man is subjugated to the white man, and any power that the black man holds in the black community still relies on the control of the white man. The black man gets the brunt of the blame in the community for power structures he did not create, or nor can he control. So at the end of the day, the issue with black people and people that adopt the mindset of their, white counterpart, men that adopt a weapon that was formed against them, and perpetuate misogyny and other patriarchal attitudes in our community, all of that still comes from the same man that the white woman complains about in her community. But yet she tells the black woman that they are sisters and that the two of them should get along and team up against all men, including black men who are also the subject of oppression through patriarchy.
I see. So like, there's a long history there, and the origination is very important to you on where the ideology came from. Do you agree, though, in just this part? Do you agree that women should have A, equal rights, and B, also have equal opportunity in the workplace?
I believe that as far as the workplace, black women have not really.
Women included. White and black women should have equal opportunity in the workplace.
I'm sorry. Whenever you say women, my default is black women. I don't care about white women. I really don't. I don't feel bad for them. I just don't.
That's fine.
So, like, white women had to protest in the streets for the right to work, right? Because that was the thing. Like, they wanted to be able to have jobs. So they had to protest. Why? Because patriarchy was doing so good a job for them that they didn't have to work for most of American history. And patriarchy made sure that they had whatever they wanted, until our women stopped working for them for free. Then they started marching and protesting because they wanted jobs. Because now black women were starting to have jobs. And ever since the black woman first stepped foot on the continent of North America, or Central America, or South America, they've always had to work. So, now when you're talking about wages, equal wages to men, I agree that, our women should be paid just the same amount, or if not more, in some cases. Sometimes, our women have reasons, I'm not going to get into it now, but have reasons to actually need more from a job. So I agree that it should be more equitable towards black women. At the same time, we're talking about participation in a system that I don't even support black people participating in, which is capitalism, where the black woman's body and the black man's body were the first capital. So, I mean, as a way to appease us in the meantime, it would, of course, be important for our sisters to get paid a fair wage, or better than fair. To be honest,
Agreed.
they deserve better than fair.
No, I agree with that. I think women should have. I'm not going to say they should get paid just equal to the average. Like, if most women aren't going for higher level positions and most men are, like, okay, there's going to be a pay gap there. But if you're at the same exact position, you should be making the same money. There should be no reason why there's a different, dollar value that you get just because you're a woman, right? So we agree with that, and I'm good with that. And that's regardless. All women, there shouldn't be a difference between a position's pay just because you're a woman versus a man. So that's one of the core tenets of feminism. The other part would be equal rights and treatment under the law. So you agree with that one?
So we're talking about feminism as you're talking about feminism as equal. So equal to who?
Men.
Okay. So am I a man?
If I don't get in trouble, I'll assume you are, yeah.
Okay. So if I'm a man and men like me don't get paid equal to men like you, are black women trying to be equal to me or are they trying to be equal to you?
What, do you have the same position as me?
No, yeah, we have the same position, but statistically you're more
You get paid
likely
the same, bro.
statistically statistically you're more likely to get more and you're more likely to get the job.
I get that. We still live in America, but I would argue that we should be treated the same and we should get paid the same.
I know, but
That's
we're
also
talking
an
about
ideology I hold.
I understand and that sounds just fine and dandy. But the thing about feminism is it focuses on assimilating more than actually liberating. So it's about assimilation. And so when we say that we want women to be equal, who do we want them to be equal to? Because I have yet to meet a feminist that wants to be equal to a black man.
Just men in general. Like the only difference is when you go to do something, be it, you get pulled over or some legal
Who
right
wants
that
to be
you
treated
have
like a
or a
black
job
man
that
when
you're
they
going
get pulled
for, you
over?
don't want to be treated differently just because you're a woman. That's it.
Who wants to be treated like a black man when they get pulled over?
Not black men.
All right, but what woman wants to
As
be
in,
treated?
nobody wants to be treated like trash when they get pulled over, and I agree that that should not happen. And that is also another thing. Equality, that's Black Lives Matter as well. That's another movement that focused on police brutality and unfair treatment under the law.
Okay.
Also, you can hold both ideologies at the same time. Women should be equal, and also black people should not be treated differently under the law. They should be given, the same privileges as everybody else.
And who's everybody else?
White people, and then I would assume
White
Asian people
people.
get less.
Exactly. So
Yeah, that's
that's
the point I'm
where
making, bro. You should be equal, bro.
right. So that's the thing where when it comes to the idea of feminism and trying to have the same privileges as white people in a white system that's controlled by those same people, we now are trying to assimilate into an oppressive system instead of liberating ourselves. Like now we're
Where
trying.
would you liberate to?
I'm sorry. That question was almost disrespectful. What do you mean by that?
You're saying you don't want to assimilate into a system. You want to be
Assimilate.
liberated. Assimilate, sorry. You want to be liberated from it. So if it isn't going somewhere else, that would mean that you're changing the system that is here, and you would change that system via movements like feminism and Black Lives Matter and
I don't
different
want
things
to
that
change the
affect that
system that
system.
is here. I
So
don't
where
care
would you
about
go
this.
then if you don't change the system that is here? How would you get rid of the entire government that is here? Like, I don't understand.
I don't think one way or the other about the American government that's here. I think now we're getting into a part of a total misunderstanding of the worldview of Black people versus your own. Um, the Martin Luther King, I have a dream white folks will accept us one day, days are over. So um, I don't know. We're not trying to fix the system anymore.
What is the solution now?
I would, it would be disrespectful for me to explain that to a white man.
A lot of black people in the chat right now. There's a lot of people who follow you. You're an influencer. You can influence them right now. What would you tell them to go do that would help our situation? Like in this country, help change or do whatever. What is your solution?
Um, it would be disrespectful for me to say that to you, and I don't know how else to
Losing it.
explain
Okay,
it. I'm sure
that's
you're.
fine. That's fine.
I'm sure you're asking. Y'all, there is a
Asking why you're complaining without actually thinking of solutions, bro. That's
Oh
what it
no,
is.
no. Whoa. I know the solutions, and I talk about them all the time. That's why I have so many followers. We know the solutions. It's just that's like
Do I?
I'm gonna explain it to you. I'm gonna explain it to you in a metaphor since I got time today. So that's like you as a white man owning a bunch of slaves and then sitting down with them and saying, how do you plan to escape tonight?
Run the country. Otherwise, I'd change it.
Nah, but you do benefit from those slaves that were here in America. So you in the current state of the prison industrial complex, you do benefit from it.
Everybody benefits from certain things that are in America and things that have taken place in the past. And if you're talking about like
Not everybody
a white
benefits.
privilege, that's specific.
Not everybody benefits.
What I benefit from? Pick one thing.
The prison industrial complex.
I benefit from it.
Have you ever shopped at Walmart?
Yes, I assume you have as well.
But when I partake in a system I didn't choose to participate in that also oppresses people like me, that's survival, not benefiting. So there's a difference there.
I'm also surviving. I don't like this system that we have.
You're not surviving. At some point, your ancestors chose to come to this stolen land and participate. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I usually don't let them talk that long. Y'all forgot there was a 5 Panther Paw rule. There's a 5 Panther Paw rule. I do have time today, though, man. Shout out to Poetic Academic. That wasn't 2 paws. That was more than 2 paws. All right. I do have time today. I broke my own rules. I usually don't let them talk like that. We gonna let some people up here. What up, smart sister? How you doing?
Hey, nephew, what's going on?
Peace. I'm well.
This is early for you, isn't it?
It sure
Or is it
is.
me?
Yeah, I got an early day tomorrow, so I got some time for now.
Yeah.
I do got some stuff to do later on though. Appreciate the
Good.
gifts, y'all. Don't forget to help us with the gift goal. Let the algorithm know you're getting some value from the live. We really appreciate that. But yeah, we have someone that was coming up. Did you want to say something, Auntie?
Oh no, I ultimately, yeah, you know me and my mouth, but yeah, I kind of just caught the tail end of Mr. White Man that was on here.
Yeah,
White T Man.
it was starting to get problematic. Like I was answering
Yes.
a lot of questions, and I normally don't do that, but
Right?
it kind of caught me off guard. I was doing some other things, setting up the live for YouTube, and then just answering questions. But then when it gets to the whole explain to me your plan, like
Right.
so that I can take it back to my people and explain to them, you know what I'm saying? That's where it
Right.
gets problematic for me. I'm not up here to teach white people.
No.
Yeah. But all right, let's get back to the live. Thank y'all for tapping like. We need to get to 10K likes, y'all. We got to get to 10K. If you never had a scone in your life, if you can see your lips when your mouth is closed, we need you to tap like. Please tap like. If you can fall asleep in the sun for 5 hours without having to go to the ER, we need you to tap like. All right, we're going to go to the next guest. Autumn, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm 20. I'm white. And my pronouns are she, her, but I don't care at the end of the day what anyone calls me. So
All right, talk to us.
I wouldn't say. So first of all, I want to talk to you more about your claim that feminism originated from the Klan, right? Could you explain that a little bit more to me?
There were many women that were in the Klan that were some of the early suffragettes that were upset that black men were given the right to vote before they were. There were feminists that called for, and it's written in written history, called for 1,000 black men a week to be unalived by tree if you know what I mean, to be unalived in trees until they were too afraid to go to voting booths. And that was the start of Jim Crow, where black men, even though written on paper they had the right to vote, we didn't actually get the right to vote until the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That was, kind of like a power struggle between white women and black men that started the suffragette and feminist movement. And feminism also was not really much of a thing, but until after slavery had ended and black women stopped working for
Correct.
white women. So again, something where they were kind of pouting that they didn't have free labor anymore. And then we've got Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who would also refer to black men as Sambo, ignorant and uneducated. I've got it written up here. If anyone's on the YouTube, you can actually see where I got the sources up here.
Yeah, the Grimkey sisters that were so-called pivotal in the feminine movement. The Grimkey sisters, same thing.
Mhm.
All of them was like, you mean to tell me you want these N words to be able to vote before me? That's what they used. That's how they got it. Despite the fact that a Sojourner Truth back in the day spoke up about women's rights, before white tea women, because we spoke in public before a lot of white tea women did. So, that's the slap in the face that we're talking about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely condemn all of these things. And I definitely know that there are a lot of problematic things about the modern day feminist movement. So that's why when I say I'm a feminist, I actually am more of an intersectional feminist, which means that I advocate for the rights of all women. Absolutely. All people assigned female at birth, even people assigned male at birth that transition. So I think it's really important to me that, everybody has equity. And what I mean by that is I think that women should have the same power in the workplace as men. I think no matter the race, I think that, we should be putting people of color, black individuals in more powerful positions because they have been excluded from those for so many centuries. And I'm not going to say that, feminism didn't originate like this. However, there are earlier accounts of feminism than the W clan, which is what I think you're referring to, right? Like when in like the 1860s, the W clan, because that's the only thing that I saw when I looked into it. But
Look up
I think a lot of it
Cady
is more
Stanton.
just white supremacy as well.
Right.
Not
Susan
necessarily.
B. Anthony.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony.
Were they in the W triple K?
I don't know if she was in the gang or not, but I know that she said some very inflammatory arguments that is the reason why white men who were in the Triple K would back women getting the right to
Right.
vote. The only way that y'all were able to get, and by y'all I mean frosted females, were able to get what they're able to get as far as voting rights and quote unquote equal rights is because they had to make the argument that they would play along with the white man's game of subjugating black people in this country. And that's why feminism, as much as you make it sound like it can create a new utopia, it has a little bit of poison in the water. There's a little poison, there's a little arsenic in the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think it's important to, push beyond that. Maybe we could call it by a different name, like equalism or something like that. So it's not
But
necessary
equal to who?
to all women. Like a more,
Okay.
like, that's
So
why I think.
all women equal in what way? Like when you say something is equal, right? There's an equal sign in the middle, right? Two lines is an equal sign. There's something on this side and there's something on this side.
Right.
So if this side is women, equal to who?
to everyone, like men particularly.
Okay, so equal to black men?
Well, I think I mean more equitable. I'm going to make that clear.
Okay, equitable to who?
All men. Like, because all men have a sense of privilege over women. You know what I mean?
So you're saying that I have a privilege over you?
Yes, but it's not.
What way?
And you have, and I
what
have
way?
privilege over you as well. And I'm aware of that. And I try to exercise my privilege in a way that benefits
I'm sorry.
everyone.
Please, what you said was just so ridiculous. In what world does a white woman who can cry in an elevator get a 15-year-old boy, Emmett Till, unalived? In what world does a black man have any privilege over a white woman? Please, I would love to know where.
Yeah.
And don't say, oh, y'all get paid more because y'all get imprisoned less. Okay, y'all are the least incarcerated, and you get hired way more than a black person. A white woman with a high school degree a high school diploma gets the same salary rate as a black woman with a master's degree. Actually, she gets paid more on average.
Yep.
That's awful.
So in what world am I, who is less employed than even black women, privileged as much as you, or more privileged in what area, please?
Yeah, so the patriarchy tries to instill beliefs in everybody.
The patriarchy
One of those being
tries to eliminate me.
If you're not going to let me talk, how am I going to get a point across?
I
And how are
want
you
to
going
hear your bullshit. That's
Okay,
crazy
so then
what you just said to me.
Then what's the point of having this conversation?
40% of people enslaved, 40% of people in slavery were owned by white women.
And I think that's absolutely awful. Okay, and I'll get off because I see this person.
How do you say I have privilege? I'm confused.
You have male privilege.
George Stinney.
You have male privilege.
So,
all men have male privilege.
Ain't no male privilege.
No, they do not.
There's male privilege.
See, that's why black women aren't a part of this feminist bullshit, because that's the whole thing about. No, there are black women that are misguided that work with white women that do that, because I've never seen you come to save any of us. Me, Lupita, anybody else that's being abused and oppressed in the workplace. Y'all know, you look out for yourself. You want to have the same power to put your foot on my neck as the white T-man. That's the bottom line. That's what feminism has shown throughout the years. Like the brother said, where is it not true? You've never done it as a whole.
Yeah.
Hell, it's a black woman that's the president of National Organization of Women right now. However, okay, being able to look out for the best interest of black women is not the case, and is not a focus of now. And that's supposed to be the premier women's feminist organization. Yeah, it's just, y'all talk around circles, but when it comes down to doing the real work, let's say, let's maybe about the Crown Act, so black women can wear their hair the way it grows out of their head. I haven't seen now or any other feminist organization come to support that legislation, and that's some legislation that you could easily get behind and support. Do you do it? No.
Mm-hmm. Well,
no. But then you sit here talking all about what, who's a part of patriarchy and all this other stuff.
Yeah. So again, like, those things may be true, and I'm 100% aware of the systemic racism going on in this country. However, I actively do work against these things. I go to protests. I read books. I've read all of Angela Davis's books. I think it is absolutely so imperative and so important that we stay educated on the perspective of a black individual in this country. And I'm absolutely hearing every single word you are saying, taking it to heart and reflecting on it.
Okay.
But
Well,
part
what you
that's
need
why
to
I'm
do
from
is
this
You
because it
teach.
said the
benefits
most
women, it
ridiculous.
benefits men, it benefits everybody for
It
people
doesn't
to
benefit
live
all men
equitably.
equally, and that's the problem with you white
No.
women, is that you tell black women that black men are the problem the same way the white man is a problem. If
Right.
feminism
I didn't
focused
say the
on
same way.
dismantling the patriarchy in the white community that influences all 10 areas of black people's 10 areas of people activity in black people's community, if y'all focus on the oppressor and perpetuator of patriarchy himself, then maybe this would be a different discussion. But the
Right.
problem is that you paint all quote unquote males as men when the patriarchy, white men, don't consider black men as men. They called us boys, they call us anything but a man. We had to march with signs with Dr. Martin Luther King
Mm-hmm.
to remind them that we are men. We are treated as subhuman, as black people, not
Mm-hmm.
even just black men, black
Mm-hmm.
women and black men together by both feminist white women, by both clan white women,
Mm-hmm.
clan white men. All the white people treat us all as subhuman
The same.
together. There are different ways that we feel it, but it's all from the same oppressors. And for you to say that black men, just because we have a ding-a-ling, makes us more privileged than a white woman, it doesn't make sense. I pulled up a list. We got Emmett Till, the Scottsboro Boys in 1939. 9 black teenagers were falsely accused of essaying 2 white women in Alabama and were convicted by all white juries. Why? Because the white patriarchal power structure. Do you believe the Justice Department is a patriarchal power structure?
The Justice Department?
Yes or no? Is the government patriarchal?
Yeah.
It excludes women from power, correct?
Yeah. In
All
a lot of
right.
ways.
So the Justice Department, the police, and the judges, the senators, the people that make the laws, all are controlled by a patriarch. And when that patriarch activates, because a white woman cried, black men don't have privilege because patriarchy works to your benefit, makes it so that you are the most protected woman in the world. You're
Yep.
more protected than black men. Me being a quote unquote man does not give me access to that protection. It makes
Nope.
me the villain of that protection. The black man is the most vilified man or most vilified person on the planet.
On Earth.
Elias Clayton, Elmer Jackson, Isaac McGee, Jesse McLaren, and then we also have George Stinney was a 14-year-old boy. He was 14. He was given capital punishment because of a white woman going to the patriarchy to get him unalive legally. So, and then what's the most recent case of this? What's the most recent case? There's been a recent case.
Marcellus Williams.
Marcellus Williams, right, Marcellus, and then you got it's not as recent. Oh yeah, the Central Park Five,
Right.
the exonerated 5. Again, a white tea woman running in the park. Black boys are put in prison. Donald Trump takes out a full-page ad. Would you say Donald Trump is a feminist?
No.
All right, so he sided with, when he saw one of his own women that were supposedly a victim to black men, did he say, well, bros are bros, grab him by the pussy? Did he say that? No. He said, we got to get these N-words, and he went and did so. So saying that black men have any kind of privilege over a white woman is wild, and painting it so that it's just men versus women when it comes to feminism is the problem. That is the problem. It's not men versus women. It's black people versus everybody else.
That's right. And that's why I said some black female feminists that don't understand that concept are problematic. Okay, and that's what has been done to us. Our relationship with our man has been attacked from day one. We had to watch our men be great on buck breaking plantations. So what you need to do, if you feel strongly about all this stuff, as you say, then you need to go back and do some more research on YT men, YT patriarchy. Stick with that. Don't come over here. Don't call, you don't know enough about our history or enough about what black women have endured either. That since we had to wash your menstrual rags as well, that most people don't want to admit. That's how degraded we were put down. So what you need to do, see what y'all kind of liberal uh, folks that think you're being fighting racism. No, you need to go back and look at yourself, look at your own history, stick with your own people, do the legislation. If y'all so about black women, like I said, something as simple as the Crown Act could be something you could get behind, but you never do. So that's just it. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. We good over here. Go and use all that to fight your own people, because you're the ones that created
No.
all this shit anyway.
I don't want to own anyone. I want to make that very clear. I think to me it's very important that everybody is liberated, and I want to be very clear. I'm also not a liberal individual. I'm a little bit more radical than that. I think I want to fully abolish the prison system because it is racist. It is terrible. It was built on slavery. It's still slavery to this day. And it's basically just legal slavery.
Absolutely.
And,
Well, but if you truly believe that, you wouldn't have let that come out your mouth. That black men got more privilege than you. See, it's still some amiss in your thinking. So therefore, you need to go and check that and check yourself to see how you even let that come out your mouth, knowing all the stuff that you know. See that that inherent racism that you all have, no matter how radical you think you are, when you break it all the way down, there's going to come a point where it's still the white superiority thing. It really is. Because there's no way you could have said that knowing the history of this country and how they've treated black men. Okay? So go back, go do your thing, and go back and learn a few more things. But like I said, stick to you. Stick to
I want
what
to be
you all
clear.
need to be doing. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
Leave us alone. Because as smart as you thought you were, or as much history as you think you know, it's off. And then it all goes back down when the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
It's always going to be white tea supremacy. Period. See, that's what we understand, but that's what some of y'all don't. Like I said, you don't take that knowledge and then break it down, because if you truly understood, you never would have said that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to say I never said that they were like more or less privileged than I am. I said that they have some
Les would have
patriarchal
been right.
aspects control over women in a different way.
No, but
No,
you
we
don't. The
don't.
black men
That's
don't.
just not true. White men
It's
have
not.
control over women. White men have control over our women. White women have control over their women. White men have control over all of this. But the white woman is right there along with them. It's like Batman and Robin.
Right.
Yeah.
You give birth to them, you raise them, and come on, apple don't fall far from the tree.
I can't control
That's just
how
it.
much. I can't control how much money a black woman makes. I can't control whether or not she gets employed. I can't control what she puts in her hair. I can't. White men literally can tell black women that her hair is unprofessional and control her life.
Right.
There are court systems where you can't even walk into court with your natural hair and be a black woman or a black man, but I can't control any of that. I don't
Right.
have any control over that. So
And,
again,
and then y'all telling us that black women, one of our main issues is AB. No, it is not.
Yeah.
What am I
didn't say
worrying
that.
about an AB for when I can barely put food on the table? You see what I'm saying? That's off-putting
Yeah.
bullshit of so-called feminism that pisses me off. Like I said, when you were using us as maids in your house or whatever, I don't know anything any white women have done to protect the rights of women like my mother that were domestics. Okay, where?
My grandmother. My
Okay,
grandmother worked in a white woman's house.
yep, mine did too, and my grandmother too.
Hmm.
My grandmother was the one washing them rags.
Mm.
Okay, so the degradation. Come on, like I said, you can believe and say all you want, sis.
Hmm.
Take it and go learn something else. And then, like I said, learn on what you can do to end this shit. We can keep sitting here talking about, oh, well, I think it's wrong, and we need to do something about it. And people in hell want ice water too. Talking about it and and identifying the problem is
Hmm.
not the issue. It's not the solution.
Hmm.
See, we
Yeah.
talking about solutions.
Yeah.
Damn, all this us going back and forth. We've been doing that for decades.
Hmm.
The paralysis of analysis.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think that it's so important to have mass education given to people about specifics of these issues, specifics of all of this. You know what I mean? I think it's very, very important to educate people,
Mass education to who?
to white individuals, yes.
Well, thank you. Please clarify because we already know the
Yeah,
mass education needs to be you people
yeah,
and you people getting together
yeah,
of a like mind to end it. That's
yep,
how that works. It's
absolutely.
not about us. We got this over here.
Yep, absolutely.
You,
Absolutely.
you all. That's your job. That's your
Yep.
your charge. If you call yourself being anti-racist.
Hmm. Yep.
Hmm.
That's what
All
you, yeah.
right. Well, okay. Go ahead. Let's see what you
Yeah,
Yeah.
do. That's
Let's see
awesome.
how that works out. All right, y'all. We gotta go to the next guest.
All
Thanks for
right.
coming
Have a
up.
good day.
All right. Next guest.
Ooh, child.
I know. I know. We gonna get some mayonnaise today. It's early in the day. That's why. That's why.
Like you say, I got time today too.
Yeah, we got time today. Hey, y'all, don't forget there's a five Panther Paw rule. Don't forget there's a five Panther Paw rule. If it starts getting unruly in here for any black people that get triggered, just send up a paw. Someone else will probably follow behind. You know what I'm saying? There's a five.
Right.
Man, they had 5 paws up there about 20 minutes ago. What you
What?
talking about?
I,
Man,
I
they had
wasn't
so many
looking.
damn paws up. They had so many paws going, and you ain't look at none of them paws. Had me up in the doggone waiting room, waiting with a million paws going off. Man, what the hell's
What?
going on here?
Did
I didn't
you?
even see him.
Man, you
What?
ain't saw them back-to-back paws coming up on the screen? Paws was that, man? Man, I think my doggone screen got scratched up. There's so many damn paws.
Oh Lord.
Yeah,
What's
no,
going
Sorry
on, dog?
about that, y'all.
no,
It's
no, no.
you know.
I really wanted to break that down to her, but I mean, Queen did the greatest job in the world. But I don't want them to get twisted because she said I'm reading Angela Davis, this and that. You must understand that the Black feminist movement is not equal to the white feminist movement. They're not the same.
Nope.
Angela Julia Cooper is not the same as Susan B. Anthony. Know what I'm saying? Ida B. Wells is not the same as Susan B. Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
No.
Ida B. Wells had a lot of smoke for Susan B. Anthony. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. They're not the same. You can't sit there and mix match these feminist
Mhm.
movements and say they're all the same because they're not all the same. It
Mhm.
was when black women got engrafted to the white women's feminist movement and they did that parade. What they do? They tried to push all the black women to the back, and Ida B. Wells had to move to the front and take the picture with them. That's why when you look at the picture, she moved all the way to the front because they told her you can't even march with the white women. And she was like,
Right.
oh, she was like, he hell. She ran Ida B. Wells to the front and took a picture with them and said, nah, you ain't about to suppress us like this because we got the numbers for your damn movement. So that's why I
Right.
say the black feminist movement and the white feminist movement are not the same. They're not equal. And other than that, you broke down everything perfectly. The patriarchy is a white man's patriarchy. Patriarchy does not
Mhm.
does not do anything for black men. That
Nope.
and in our own societies, don't get me wrong, in our own societies we have things to fix, but it's totally different than the social structure society that the white man rules. And when Brother Legend broke that down, said, "No, we can't. No, we don't come up with all these things. So there is no patriarchy against black men against white women. We have things in our community that we might have to fix, but don't ever try and say that everything is the same. Because when it comes to white women hijacked affirmative action from black people. White
Mm-hmm.
women took a lot of things from black men and black women. So you can't, even when you look at, like I said, the pay system, all those different things, healthcare, everything, they jacked it away from black men and black women. So yeah, it's not equal. And so I just want to come up and just give it, I just say, when you're reading these Angela Davises, she needs to understand how to bring things under. When Angela Davis speaks about feminism, and when people like Kathleen Cleaver speaks about feminism, and they talk about the Black Panther Party, these have nothing to do with with patriarchy and feminism with white people. These have to do with our own structures. And when black people write books, I got it that white people gonna read them, but they're writing them for us within our community. So that's why there's a social structure. Who are we to white people and other people? And then there's a governance structure. And this is a governance structure conversation. Who are black people to each other? And that's why we got to keep it. Who am I to other black people in the world? Who am I to black Cubans? Who am I to black Haitians? Who am I to black Africans? Who are black people to each other? And they need to stop trying to hijack these conversations. Malcolm X said it best when he came back and started the the Afro-American or Organization of Unity. He literally said, okay, white people, if y'all want to do this, he said, y'all can help, but not within our camp. Y'all need to go to your camp and teach that.
Right.
That's what Malcolm said. He said, yeah, if you want to preach against racism, then you need to go teach your people to stop being racist.
Right.
Don't come to us. If you want to preach about, if you want to preach about equality, don't come to our community preaching equality. Go to your people. No, your
Right.
boys need to be double loud in your own communities than over here. And I hate when people want to come to our communities and say, hey, let's have these conversations. No, Malcolm said it. Go to your communities, start your own things, and preach those things over there. If you want to start an anti-racism movement, then you need to get a group of 10 to 15 white women and preach anti-racism. But you can't come over here and talk about that because who we are to each other is gonna win. And that's all I want to say.
You hit it, brother. And like what he brought up, black people, please don't fall for the thing that, see, when Malcolm came back from Mecca, he came back a little soft. He wanted to work with white people. He wanted to start acting like Martin Luther King. See, that's still a narrative that they try to preach that's off. Like you said, if you know Malcolm and you read them, we here in our organization at B1, we looking at the plan that he and John Henry Clark wrote, like you said, in the Organization of Afro-American Unity. He gave us a plan of action. And most of us don't even know what it is. And it was not, like you said, running, joining, being with white folks. So please, people, please don't keep perpetuating that effed up narrative about our brother.
Exactly. Because the way he said it plain and simple. He said, y'all want to join our movement? Join our movement. The best way you can join our movement is go back to your communities and you preach against them. Don't come to our communities preach against. Go to your communities and preach it. And so, and I've seen her before in other lives, and I will say this, not a bad thing. She does speak that loud stuff over there, but she don't need to be over here. She needs to stay over there doing it. This is not the place where she need to do it. She needs to stay over there preaching that over there. And that's the thing. When you come over these, you get dog walked because this is a way of knowing that we only know. This is a black space. This is our way of knowing. You bring it over here, you're gonna get loud. Keep your anti-racism where it really needs to be at. All right, the anti-racism needs to be over there, telling them to stop to tell them all the things you learned about reading our books. You know what I'm saying? You're reading Kendi. You know what I'm saying? You're reading Professor Kendi X, and you want to learn how to be anti-racist. Yeah, he wrote that book so you could go to your white communities and preach aloud to them because we don't need to be preached to no more, especially by white folk.
Exactly.
And so, take that preaching over there to them and let them know how you feel. But look, y'all take care. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for having me up. Let me cash my check. All right, y'all.
I say appreciate you. All right, shout out to the Black Cabinet Education. He has an amazing live where he reads books to our people. That's a very important brother. I support what he's doing. All right, y'all. Don't forget to keep tapping like. We're trying to get to 25K. We're going to let some people up here. What's going on, Poetic?
Hey, Shay, how you doing, brother Legend?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I tried to help you out with that frosted female because when the minute she said intersectionality, it was like I knew it was gonna go sideways.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, man, you know that with them, it's like it's too much they gotta learn. You know what I'm saying? Before they come around trying to lecture us on feminism. You know, me, I don't even like the word feminism. You know, Africana womanism, something that I'm studying now, but womanism. You know, how we treat women and how we can come together, man and woman, with respect for each other and build together and work for each other. That's our solution. You know, their solution, you know, looks a little different for their community, but our solution has always got to be family centered and bring unity, not division. You know. But did you want to say something, brother?
Oh no, you got this. If you wanted to give me mod privileges, I mean, I could help you out a little bit while you're
Yeah,
doing your
man.
thing.
If you could, because I know don't get
No,
them.
I won't
Don't,
kick
don't kick
anybody.
them out if they just disagree. But if they get disrespectful, then please, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I
All
got
right.
you.
I said, Brian, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm 51. I'm half Italian, half American. Uh,
What's your
my,
race?
uh, I guess I'm just a regular white guy.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say everything that you said. I agree with 100%. I don't agree with all your guests 100% in its entirety, but I like the fact that you articulated everything with facts. And like I say, the truth is the truth, regardless of who's telling it. And I admire that. A lot of people get emotionally charged and start interjecting their feelings or whatever, but you spoke the truth. The truth is the truth. But I wanted to bring up a very important fact. The system is set up to pit. When we talk about the white man, I'm a white man, but I'm not the white man because I don't have the power that political affiliates that make legislation possess. And what they want to do is they want to pit me as your enemy, and I'm not your enemy. I'm your brother. Now, if we look at Autumn had made a very valid point. She had said, I want to see more black people in positions of power because she says that it's overdue because of suppression. Well, I want to point out that there are a lot of black people placed in the highest positions of powers, but they were carefully selected not to represent the black community. So that does nothing for the community, but it's easy to say, well, look, we have a black senator, we have a black president, we have this, that, and the other. But if people aren't operating on the premises of equity and equality, then what good is that? It's simply a narrative that's being sold, which is a lie, to pit people like you and I against each other, and I think it's ridiculous. But the question is, how do you fix that?
The same way that you say that there are black people placed into leadership and they're selectively chosen not to represent, so basically black people get into power that are selected by the power structure.
Correct.
Because they don't actually align with what's in the best interest of black people. They're not actually going to speak for us, right?
I agree with that. Yeah.
So then, do you also believe the adverse could be true? The opposite could be true? Do you believe that you are, put into a position where you're selectively chosen, and because you feel powerless, you are not representing your own people in the opposite? So you're kind of used as a tool to get black people to believe that there are white people that are victims of that same power structure. And
I agree with that. Yes, 100%. 100%. In fact, I've been watching your live for quite some time this afternoon, and you haven't spoken one word that wasn't a fact. I mean, some of them are uncomfortable facts, but they're facts nonetheless. Um, uh, but I mean, it's easy for us because of the way that the political environment is set up for us to say, well, black people or white people or, the white man or this, that, and the other. But I think it's important to point out that, like somebody like myself, I am a white man, but I'm not the white man. We can't assimilate everybody's belief systems based on their racial construct. For example, I'm a pastor. I'm a Christian pastor, so I worship.
Not like the white man to me.
Okay, I am a white man, but I'm a Christian pastor. But watch this. I was told in another live that I have to be racist if I'm a white Christian pastor.
Yeah.
Well, here, and look, I'm just going to give it to you real. I'm going to give it to you real 100. The Savior that I serve, that I worship, is not a white man. See, Jesus wasn't white.
So you worship a black man?
I do. His name is Jesus. His name is Jesus.
Jesus is a Greek name.
Come again?
Jesus.
Correct.
Jesus Christ is Greek. That's in Greek.
Right. But he was if you look at his he was a Nazarene, which were very heavily melanated people. So if Jesus in the flesh were to have walked, the image that we see portrayed as Jesus would look a whole lot more like you than he would like me. And I have to succumb to that, but I worship him nonetheless because, once again, as I stated, men want to create a God in their image. See, I was created in God's image. I may not look like God because I'm adopted. I don't have a birthright. I don't have a birthright to the throne. I understand that. As a Gentile, I'm adopted. But everything in nature that makes you strong will kill me. And that's the truth. The sun. The sun in itself will kill white people. Because our gene pool throughout history, of course, we all come from Eastern Africa. But through the lineage of the tribes being broken down, just like anything in the animal planet, there is a mutation, if you will. I mean, if I were to say, okay, as a white man with European descent, porque yo soy mezzo italiano, but that I was the original.
You muted yourself.
Lying.
Oh,
It would be a lie.
okay, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. But,
yeah, so that being the case, if you consider yourself, not the white man, then what have you done to dismantle your privilege?
being completely transparent, absolutely nothing. What I do is I treat everybody, every single human being that I meet, equitably. When I meet you, I'm meeting you. I'm not meeting a black man. I'm not meeting a person from such and such a state or whatever. I'm meeting you. And I think that if we could break down those paradigms, because see, the way the system is set up to suppress you and to identify me as the suppressor. Okay, so if we're pitted against each other, then we don't have the power to overtake the suppressor, which is very real. And the suppressor happens to be the political hierarchy, which is constructed of white men. Even look, Barack Obama was the president. I get that. Kamala Harris is the vice president. Every single one of them still have puppet strings that are controlled by the corporate America. In corporate America, we know it is what it is. It's the white man. So when we say the white man, let's be clear. We're talking about people that have the power to influence policy, that have the power to influence every construct of our lives. And those people do not want you and I to have intelligible conversations with each other, or God forbid that we respect and love one another. I mean, God forbid that that happens, because if you and I were to come together, they have a big problem.
We can't love anyone until we have justice. Until we have justice, we won't have peace. And you can't have love in a hostile environment. So until we have peace, we can't have love.
Okay, now let's look at this numerically. Okay, Black Americans make up what, 14% of the population?
I think we just hit 15, but yeah.
Okay, so 15% of the population. So, I think with that level of disparity, the financial edge rests on those people, and I'm talking about the corporations, the Blackstones, the Donald Trumps, oh, by the way, I'm also very conservative. I'm a very conservative individual. And a lot of people say, oh, well, so you're a Trumpster. I don't support Donald Trump. I support conservative core values, because I don't care who's in office. I care who's on the throne. And that's the same one that created you and me, bro. But for us to get to a point where you have justice, it takes people like you and I having intelligible conversations and working together to overcome the people that are truly suppressing this nation.
Why would I want to work to overcome those people? Like, why would I want to work to dismantle white supremacy?
Because it would make everybody's life better. It would make your life better. It would make my life better.
Why would I want to do something to make your life better?
For the same reason why I'd want to do something to make your life better. Because look, here's the thing. Malice and hatred are like rust. It's like rust. Why would you want to fight rust that's on the frame of your car if it doesn't affect the body? Because it does affect the body. We're more connected than we realize, and everything that affects you is going to affect me. Maybe not in the same way, and I'm being, and I accept that. Maybe not in the same way, but there will be an effect one way or the other. And I would rather that your son could drive to the same place that my son can drive to without being profiled, mistreated. I would like your son to have the same opportunities that my son has. And I would like for my son to be able to drive to that same place, see your son, and wave at him and not be seen as an enemy.
Imagine this. I want to paint a scenario for you, right? Imagine you, I don't know if you ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre or anything like that, but like imagine you were like trapped into someone's basement and you couldn't leave, and this person was keeping you there and you wanted to leave so bad, man. You just want to get away from this guy. It's very harmful, very hostile environment. And so then one day someone that is cool with the guy comes down and someone that has benefited from you being in that basement somehow. I don't know. I'm just making this scenario up. But they say, you know what? I'm going to free you. I'm going to, remove your chains and help you get out of here. And then the person's like, oh, thank God, I can run away now. And you're like, you're the person that's going to run away. You're like, oh, my God, yes, I'm free. Mm-hmm. So now you're getting ready to walk out the door. And the person that unlocked your chains is like, wait, where are you going? We gotta handle the guy that did this to you. Like, would you want freedom or would you want to, attack the person that did that to you more? Like, which one would you value in that moment?
That's a very valid point. I think I would want justice and freedom, but I'd want justice first.
Okay. I can't fault you for feeling that way. If that's how you feel. In my opinion, I would rather Kuji Chakulia. It's a word that we use. I would rather freedom. I would rather just to get the hell up out of here, to be honest. I'd rather, and I'm not saying get the hell up out of here physically, but I would rather have self-determination to how I want to live my life. You as a white man could eat a sandwich right now, and the bread that that sandwich was made with came from a business owned by a white man. The farm that grew the lettuce and the tomatoes was grown by a white man that was distributed through a white trucking company to a white grocery store where you was able to buy the lettuce and tomatoes for that sandwich, the meat in that sandwich, everything in that sandwich could have been brought to you by white corporations or white-owned businesses. And if not, if anything, the businesses are owned by white-owned banks. Me, however, I can't eat without paying a white man. I can't live every day in some way. I have to pay a white man, even if it's for apps on my phone, which are made from resources stolen from my people in Africa. Like, there's everything around me. I have to at some point give back to a white man in order to have. So, freedom doesn't mean just, running away to somewhere else. It could mean that from the farm to my plate, or from the raw materials to the actual product being built, that it comes from my people. That's Kuji Chakulia. That's self-determination.
Well, there is more. There is more natural resources in the continent of Africa alone than there are in the remaining entire globe. When I was in Ghana,
That is true.
I was in Ghana.
But wait, can I say this to you? Since
Yes,
you're,
ma'am.
first of all, there's the African origin of Christianity. Some of the basic principles are African. Okay, let's get that first. But can't
Of
you
course, ma'am.
see how they took from us, turned it around, made God look white, made him say, oh, it's wrong for you to feel, malice or anger toward these people. Oh, you're supposed to love each other and work together. Look, we've been doing that for 500 years. So first of all of that stuff, and that's me having grown up as a Christian. I understand what Christianity is. I look at all religions and try to go to the source of where they came from and how they were used. That's how the Jedi mind trick was put on us, where we think we're being better Christians and loving Christ more by being subjugated and loving our enemy and all that mess. When if Jesus was in the temple and he took a whip out and started whooping ass when stuff wasn't right,
He did.
that's the Jesus. That's the part of Christianity I'm getting with,
Oh yeah,
where
yeah.
you got to fight against that stuff. Get out of your mind that this white God you supposedly is telling you, well, just deal with, you're going to be in heaven. You going to heaven one day, when hell is right here, right now. So the thing that I think you need to understand is when black people separate themselves from a lot of the brainwashing and a lot of the stuff, us being separate and doing for ourselves is fine. You all have done it the whole time as Christians. I didn't see no Christians out helping Marcellus Williams. I didn't see no churches coming doing nothing. So they got their purpose, like you're saying, as far as the government is structured, as far as corporate money is structured, then Christianity has benefited and done the same thing. Now, I'm not saying, I look at it like this, as Malcolm said, your choice of your religious beliefs is personal. That's on you to
Correct.
do what you do. However, howsoever, when it comes time to fight and when it comes time to do what you got to do, you got to leave that outside the door. and come in as a person. And see what y'all just cannot get with is that we don't want to be with you. We don't want to be. We don't have to be around you to make it. And you got to let that go.
Oh, well, and I can easily, but I have a question for you. If we're looking for equity and equality, if that's the argument, how can we possibly have equity and equality if we are not one?
See, that's where you're getting confused. Is you're saying how can we live equitably together in the same under the same umbrella, and we're saying that European Americans and European descendants have shown us in as many ways as possible that they are not willing to do that, to have an equitable society with us all under the same roof. So that being the case, we would like to now create a competing economy that we know they wouldn't allow us to. They wouldn't want us to have that. We
Of
understand,
course not.
but at the same time, we have a right to be able to defend ourselves and a right to be able to have Kuji Chakalia, which is self determination.
Yes.
And whether or not that turns into some sort of you know, battle. I gotta be careful what I say on
Sure.
TikTok.
Sure.
We're not gonna we're gonna get to a point where the sleeping giant can wake up and actually
Right.
have that fight, a revolution rather. You know what I'm saying? A
Hmm.
revolutionary minded people. Right now, too many of us, don't have that at the front of their mind. We're too many of us surviving, which is probably the reason why you're trying to figure out a way for us to stay and live better.
Right.
And I think,
Y'all living just fine, Christian.
mhm.
You living just fine. You ain't having no problems. You get justice. You got it all already right now.
Actually, I kind of walked away from. To be fair, to be transparent, I had a very, very comfortable life when I lived in Florida, and I walked away from it because I decided I wanted to go into the ministry and serve. And so we went to Africa, built an orphanage, traveled the world, 63 countries. I speak 4 languages, and I have no education whatsoever. But I've
Did you
managed,
preach Christianity in Africa?
sir.
Did you indoctrinate our brothers and sisters in Africa with Christianity?
No, I actually didn't go. I didn't go to preach. I went to serve other people. Um, I didn't bring doctrine to anybody in Africa.
Okay.
What I brought to them was my labor. I mean,
But good.
I physically labored and brought running water to an orphanage uh, in Ghana, and but I mean, because you know what, you can talk about doctrine all you want, but faith without works is dead. If you really want to love on somebody, get your hands dirty, jump in the trenches, show somebody that you love 'em. Don't tell them you love them. How's that going to help a child have clean drinking water or electricity or someplace to go to school or someplace to live and thrive by me coming in and saying, hey buddy, Jesus loves you? No.
Hmm.
I mean, you think that little boy really cared that what my spiritual
Nope.
walk was? He was hungry and wanted some clean drinking water without having to walk 5 miles down to the creek. I mean, let's keep it real 100. And all them trees, man, they had like all these forests of these huge African mahogany trees that were just wiped out. I'm talking about wiped out. And when the trees were wiped out, it caused soil erosion, and then that contaminated their water supply over there. So we had to find alternate water supply. But I was thinking, man, this, this, I mean, they literally got robbed, and I seen it with my own eyes.
So why are you in Africa instead of going to Europe?
Well, I think that's where God wanted me to be, man. You know, I mean, so uh,
If you're the anti-racist that you've let us know, then that means that you should be at the root of the problem, chopping down the tree. You know what I'm saying?
but I mean, well, I'm not a lumberjack. You know, I mean, look, I'm I'm not one to be swinging no chainsaw. I'm more of your electrical plumbing kind of guy. But there was a lot of
No, I'm not
orphans.
talking about the actual tree. I'm talking about if you uh, addressing the effects of racism in Africa is not going to change or help anyone in Africa. It just makes you feel bad.
Thank you.
You should go to Europe and address the root of the problem. The actual problem is Europeans
Right.
taking advantage of
Go
Africa.
get Macron to get out the hell out of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. That that's what I'm saying to YT people. Y'all always going to, and don't get me wrong. I don't want to diss anything, a good effort made by anybody. However, if you all want, instead of appeasing your conscience, you need to go and look at what is causing this and go to the people that caused it. And it's always you. Okay,
I
so go there and do some
I
work. That's all
actually
we're saying as
I
black
actually
people.
I actually grew up on a small island called Sardinia, the Isla di Sardegna. And see, it's a small island, and it's a pretty diverse island, but all them problems that they got here in the United States, we ain't had them problems over there. Because everybody, like everybody knew everybody. We ain't got no crime, you know, and I mean it's really a beautiful place, but we ain't got no money either, which is why I'm in the United States. Um, but I mean, see, all the issues that we are having here are not so much when you get abroad and you see people don't. I can't even explain the
You're getting cut off. We do have to go to the next step. We've been
to my
talking.
people over there. They,
I'm sorry, your phone keeps
they
cutting
don't
off.
even understand it. Okay, well, hey, thank you. I really appreciated talking with you, and I really enjoyed your live.
All right.
And you have a wonderful day, and I wish you bountiful blessings.
Okay. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Y'all keep tapping like, tapping like. We're trying to get to 50K likes. We are behind. We've been up here for a while. What did he say about crime? I didn't hear the crime part. I didn't hear the crime part.
Man,
Yeah.
YT people need to stay away from Africa, please. Just go to
Leave
Europe.
us the
Go
hell
somewhere else,
alone.
please.
Like I say, go get Macron in France to sit his ass down. That's what you do. Leave us alone. We got this.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go to the next guest. They've been waiting for a while. Seth, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Yeah, 20, black, and he, him. I also want to mention I'm in the passenger seat. My brother's taking me to school, but if that's okay, because I know how like the driving shit works on TikTok.
Yeah. Go ahead, talk to us.
Okay, yeah. I just well, just a couple questions. First, I assume you guys aren't talking about like you guys aren't talking about, I guess, like the Black feminist movement, right?
There's critiques of the Black feminist movement as well, but it depends on what your definition of Black feminism is. Like,
Yeah.
it
So
really, it gets deep. You know what I'm saying? Even womanism, we could sit here and critique that as well. Africana womanism, something that I think a lot of brothers and sisters should study more. But if we're talking about feminism as in a generic idea that Black women and Black men should be equal in society, then, okay, but I feel like, in different ways we are equal, but there are ways where Black men perpetuate white misogyny and white patriarchy onto our own sisters because we think that that gives us some sort of proximity to power. It makes us feel more power because we've been put into an environment where we're so powerless that, beaten down on a sister, even if it's not physically, but just siding against our sisters makes us feel more powerful because we don't ourselves know how do I we don't know the definition of manhood for ourselves, so we think we become more of a man by
No,
perpetuating.
yeah, I get you, but like I feel like with like intersectional feminism, right? Like it does talk about, like, I guess, like disbanding the systems of oppression that do disproportionately affect like Black people and people of color. So if like that's your point, I understand you might have critiques, but like would you still consider it like anti-Black?
Yes. Well, depends on your depth. It depends because see that's the thing. A lot of people use these terms, but they don't know where they come from. And
Yeah,
so
like
I am
it's
now
not really
learning.
like
There was a time where I didn't give grace, right? I just thought everyone understood. But now I'm learning that certain people say certain things, but they mean the same thing that I mean. And then we end up like we could mean the same thing, but the words might come from somewhere else. So intersectionality by Kimberly Crenshaw, who had a white husband. Wait, did she? Hold on. Didn't Kimberly Crenshaw have a white husband, y'all? Does somebody know? Somebody in the audience? Hold on, I'm about to find out right now on the fact checker. We Googling in. No. She had a Black husband. I think she had a Black husband. I don't know. I think she might have had a Black husband. A lot of the quote unquote people that believe in intersectionality, I don't see her with a husband at all, honestly. She's just standing next to Black men. But I don't know. Somebody can fact check it for me. But what I'm saying is Kimberly Crenshaw, her idea of intersectionality, where people have used it to say that there's a hierarchy where there are white men at the very top, white women, then there's kind of like the men of everyone else, the women of everyone else, and then there's Black men at the top of the Black community and white Black women at the bottom of society. And that's just not true when you look further into the data.
okay. So like, I have a question then? Do Black men make less than like Black women like disproportionately?
Are we talking about GDP or are we talking about wages?
Wages.
Wages, yes. GDP, no.
So
and that does matter. That's not something we can dismiss because Black men are the least employed demographic in the country. We're the only demographic that is less employed than our women. All other demographics, the Italian community, the Jewish community, the Hispanic, Latino, Indigenous community, all these other communities, the men are more employed.
Okay, so like I feel like so like I can just bring up like, okay, like what about like I don't know if I can say the word here, but like sexual harassment. And I think I already know where you're going. If you're gonna tie this into like I guess that it's like white supremacy, I understand that, but it's also displayed in like other societies as well, right?
Essaying.
Yeah.
Essaying
I don't want to.
itself is not proof of patriarchy, though. It's an effect of being in a hostile environment and oppression. So we know that people in more impoverished neighborhoods do have more SA. And we do know Black people, more likely than not, are in these impoverished neighborhoods. So that does go on. But
No, yeah, I know what you mean, but if
it also
like
isn't. I just want to say real quick, it also isn't as black and white as people make it seem on TikTok, because there are certain statistics and data about SA where Black men have it worse than Black women.
like
The average Black boy loses his virginity, I believe, at 12. And the average, let me look it up real quick. I have the fact checker here. Hold on.
But again, you're like, I don't know if you're comparing it to like Black women though, right? Like, shouldn't the rates be like the same then? Like,
No, it shouldn't be the same, but what we're saying is most of us have glazed over the fact that Black boys have been sexually abused as well, and usually by older
No,
women.
I'm
Now
not
we
gonna.
got
I
to
don't
go
want
and
to ignore
call it
that.
what it is. You've been
Yes,
so
but
hypersexualized that our boys have been usually they do lose their virginity very early.
yeah,
Okay, and the same thing. Look at all the stuff coming about out of all these teachers that have sexually abused our young boys. So you all have suffered a lot from the same stuff that we do. In terms of women, 3 out of 5 women has experienced some type of sexual abuse in some kind of way. I'm sorry, F1 and F1.
no,
And
I
that was
understand
women
that,
in
but
general. We
his
won't even
point,
talk about us.
Hold on,
his
hold
point though
on,
was
hold
that
on,
since
hold
that
on,
black
hold
women
on,
are
hold on,
in
hold on. The
impoverished
host is
communities where it's
talking.
more likely to happen.
Seth, relax. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna let you talk, but I'm hosting a show here. So, due to research, the research indicates that by their 17th birthday, the probability of a black uh, boy having actual intercourse is 82%. So 82% of black boys have, smacks by the time they're 17 years old. And for women, for black women, or black girls, it's 74%. So this is just one statistic, but there are many where uh, underage black boys are losing their virginity younger than at a higher rate than black women are underage.
Do you think? Okay, I don't want to undermine that, but I want to kind of go back to the original claim I made because you said that the reason why it's higher among black women is because they tend to be in impoverished neighborhoods, right? But so do black men. So shouldn't they be accounted for the same rate of sexual harassment?
No, that doesn't even make sense.
How so?
Your socioeconomic level doesn't dictate this. This happens across the board. And I'm sure if we did something, so trying to push it into that as the reason,
I didn't try to
no.
push it. He did. It wasn't me. I didn't make the claim. He
He
just said
didn't
he
say,
did.
if you listen to what he just said, we damn near are, men are a little more, but we're still in the 70 percentile.
I
Didn't
wasn't.
he
No,
just say both
I
black
wasn't
men and
discussing.
women?
I wasn't
So
discussing
in
about
some
the
of these
claim of losing one's
statistics,
virginity.
Seth, in some of
All
these,
right, what are you saying? Let's
So
get to the
I
getting.
was
What are you
talking
saying?
about. I was talking because the original claim I made was in like, why do black women face sexual harassment disproportionately more than black men? And you were like, well, and he was like, well, black women tend to be in more impoverished areas, and it happens more in impoverished areas. So I'm like, okay, that's right, you're not wrong, but shouldn't we see the same correlation with black men because they tend to be in impoverished areas too?
all
Wouldn't it
right.
be the same?
So Seth, let me answer your question.
Oh,
All right. So when you're talking about black men and perpetuating violence, because SA is a form of violence. Violence happens within proximity, and it's more likely to happen in areas where people are oppressed. You understand? We didn't have problems with SA the way we do today in Africa before white people arrived. We had solutions to this. We built societies on honor and obligation for a reason. Your honor, your honor was most important, so you did things honorably. And then when it came to obligation, your obligation was to protect the tribe, including all the women of the tribe. So you didn't harm them. Then we were introduced to patriarchy through our white masters. Since then, patriarchy is something that a lot of brothers and sisters have adopted. And that's word to Bell Hooks, who says patriarchy has no gender. So when we talk about the black community and we talk about SA, our sisters, the most SA demographic. Technically, no. Technically, that would be black trans women. But if we're going to say, as far as male and female, are they more SAs? Yes. Are black men the most SA men in the world? Yes. We are fighting neck at neck. Yes, black women get it more, but it's not equal. So black men are, No, bro, we're splitting hairs at this point. But at the same time, there are other statistics. Hold on, you gotta let me explain myself, man. There are other statistics that show that in some areas, sisters got it worse. In some areas, believe it or not, because I know white feminism has taught you to vilify black men, but believe it or not, there are areas where being a male black person is actually worse when it comes to SA. That's just the truth. Everything is not so black and white. The black man is the perpetuator, this violent, pathological rapist that white people have taught us to be, like taught us that we are. That's just not true. And a lot of liberals believe this. Ever since Birth of a Nation, white people have been telling us that black men are these pathological deviants, that just want to do all this stuff. And the facts is that because of how we're oppressed, and we see in other communities in other countries where they might not have black and white, but they might still have ethnic oppression, that these things occur in oppression. So I'm not excusing any of it. I'm not making an excuse for any of this type of behavior. We have to do better. We have to do better. Black men have to do better. And I can speak for black men because I'm a black man. So yes, we should not be harming our sisters. It makes us no powerful. We need to relearn our African way of being a man and learning honor and obligation and understanding that protecting the black woman protects us, because a black woman is the future of our people. So understanding all of that, all I'm trying to say is the problem with intersectionality is that it says that, well, in the way some people describe it, it puts a hierarchy in our community when there is no hierarchy. Once you are black, you are not deemed man or woman. You are male and female prisoners of war in the context of racism, white supremacy. In the context, you might feel your imprisonment differently because you're a female, or you might feel it differently because you're a male. But saying that black women are oppressed differently and black men are oppressed differently is just causing division for no reason.
It's whack.
So again, you never really addressed my point, right?
What is your point?
I don't know.
I'd like to know.
So
what are you getting at? What is your end game? What is your point?
No, because you're saying the amount of privilege that they both hold is the same. It's not. And I told you why. And again, wait, let me finish because I let you guys finish, right? I asked, I'm like, okay, well, if their privilege is the same, why do they disproportionately? Also, I want to mention too the statistic you gave up. That isn't disproportionately, right? I can bring up other sexual assault crime statistics for when it pertains to the black community, and it's way higher, disproportionate comparative to men, right? So that's not a good argument. The statistic I gave is disproportionate.
There's less black men than black women. Do you know that black women outnumber black men by 10% of the American black population?
So
the fact that black men are 10% more likely to have sex before 18, but also be 10% less of the population than black women, that's disproportionate.
Oh, they are. Okay. So, are you assuming that they had sex with someone like older?
That's what the statistics that I read said.
That's what it said.
Part of it. That's why black men a lot of times have been sexually abused. They're babysitters. I know too many men myself personally, and I'm not using anecdotal information. But what I'm trying to understand, what point are you making? I'm just trying to understand. Are you trying to say
that there is not like black? They don't hold this. They don't hold the same amount of privilege, right? Like. Even 10%. There are 10% less black men than the word black women, but they commit a disproportional amount of crime to black women compared to black men. So what are you trying to say?
Are you trying to say criminals?
No, so I'm saying right that the patriarchy does benefit black men to an extent.
It benefits us to grape our own women. Is this what you're saying?
No, it does. That's okay. Wait.
No, but what is the benefit then? Because the ability to perpetuate violence on a member of your own community is not a privilege. A privilege is a power you don't know you have. It's not a benefit or a privilege to perpetuate violence violence on your own people. That
It
doesn't
affects
make
Thank
any
you.
black. It
sense.
affects
That's like
black women
saying,
more than
hold
black
on.
men.
That's like saying if I
Yeah,
were
you're
to
right.
pop someone in the face with a fist, that I can be racist. I'm benefiting. I'm oppressing whoever I punch. Like that doesn't make any
Yeah, you're
sense.
right. I didn't mean to word it like that, but it affects black women more than black men. Because again,
In your
your only
okay,
argument.
look, I
Let me
am
finish. I
because
want to
we
finish. I want
are.
to finish.
Whatever happens
No,
to black women, and if it affects us
can I
more,
finish?
okay, the mere fact of the sexual act is a violent story. Women, you know, is somebody gonna drag a brother down the alley and grape him? I mean, what are you saying? That's my point. The whole act
It don't make
itself.
no sense because if he was really
How
going
does
to
it?
talk about patriarchy, then yes, you can talk about it. Even if we're going to go with what you're saying, and we're going to say that patriarchy does a horrible job at essaying black women. All
No,
right,
that
cool.
you're still on this point. I've already
Seth, please
addressed
don't
this
cut me
point.
off.
Listen to
Seth,
what I'm saying.
I'm gonna let you have that. Black women are the number one victims of SA. Cool. I just said black trans women, but if we want to go that route, cool.
No, we
Black
could go
women,
that route. But
they got that. They got
I
that.
don't think you view trans women as women, though, right?
What?
Or trans women?
I just called them trans women.
Hello?
Statistics count them. So
I
my
know,
point
but
is this: what are you saying? That
Yeah,
black
but we
men
just talking about what
are more
arguments are.
violent. That black men
We
do
moving
this.
on.
The black men, yeah, of course he gonna
He's trying
run,
to come
bitch
up with
ass.
arguments. Now he's trying to make it about transphobia and something. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, what I was trying to say was that even if we say that patriarchy does a number on the sisters more than the brothers, now we have to, because we just said that, now we have to ignore all the ways that patriarchy essays black men. And that's the problem,
Exactly.
is we never get to talk about how patriarchy is detrimental to black men as
Thank
well.
you.
But now we're going to ignore all the black men and we're just going to talk about black women and being essayed. Now, let's talk about how patriarchy imprisons. Patriarchy, the name Tyrone, they did a study where the name Tyrone triggered a fear response in the people in the study. They did a
See,
study and they typed in, they flashed different names: Brian, Megan, Felicia. Then they flashed the name Tyrone. Tyrone across the board got a fear response. Why? Because it's a name attributed to black men. Black
thank you.
men are the direct target of patriarchy. Yes, patriarchy and SA, it happens because patriarchy is something that's a power structure built by men where SA is overlooked. So yes, we could talk about that. But at the same time, patriarchy is also weaponized against black men, where patriarchal institutions like the police like to prey upon us.
Thank you.
So it's like black women are expected to live on average 10 years longer than black men because patriarchy makes sure that we don't even live as long.
Thank you.
Black women are arrested at the same rate. They're incarcerated at the same rate as white men because patriarchy says we got to lock these N-words up. We got to get them out of the house, get them away from their women. So it's like we can sit here and do the oppression Olympics. We can sit here and say, what's better, to be essayed more or unalived more? Which one do you think is better? Like, neither of them.
That's why I wasn't getting what the hell he was saying. And I'm so damn tired of all these needs to grows coming up here talking about intersectionality. Fuck that. What is actually happening to us? What is actually pulling us apart? If I'm a black woman, I've been raped, people. I'll talk about it. I don't have a problem talking about it. My thing is, though, whether I am or not, if the same things are going on with my man, I worry about you just as much. I'm not going to say, oh, well, that's that old feminist bullshit that you got to push your man away to look at just yourself. And to me, that's what he was doing as far as I could see. Don't pit me again. I don't give a shit what happens to us. If it's happening to our man and it's breaking apart our families, that's the key fucking issue. Fuck intersectionality. I'm so tired of that shit. I don't know what to do. Look at what is happening to us. Understand that. Miss me with all that other bullshit. Oh God, here we go. Now you rather argue with you about how violent a black man is against a black woman, but when we know what factors are going into all of it.
Right.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lord, just stay y'all punk asses up off this damn live if you're gonna come up here with some nonsense.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Sorry, that just struck me. Because having been being a woman that was raped by two men at one time, come on now, when I was 6 fucking years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's done struck a nerve with me. So you are not gonna come up here and talk about nothing when I've experienced it and I know what time it is. And I still do. My father was a black man. So how am I gonna turn against? Oh, but what happened to me? I hate black men. No.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know.
I was 15 years old when a woman from our church tried to sneak into my bedroom and you know, I was and that's the thing. There was a weird choir director in my at the church as well, that used to take me to get haircuts, and I didn't understand that till later on in life. He's now in prison. But anyway, yeah, like, you know, I've seen it in the community, you know, being a boy, like, you know, except me, I had my father in my life. So I was always willing to beat somebody up that tried to touch me. So, yeah, I knew I was of the age where I was headstrong enough that I was able to dodge it. But, you know, I've got stories. I'm sure many other brothers got stories.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's time that it comes out. Y'all forget about the buck breaking plantations, people.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you all that are saying something for me. You know, but you know it's okay. I'm okay. I'm right here now. I'm working with Brother Legend. I'm trying to give as much back to the world that I can. Like they said, the African adage of the point of life is to learn lessons and give gifts. Period.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, I'm cool and thank you all though anyway, but that's just it. That's a part of the black community we gotta get together because for a long time our men have been SA'd. You know, babysitters, you know, like he said, look at that, old church lady, you know, all these people, but nobody wants to talk about it. We can talk about women, but no, we gotta talk about all of it. Or sit your ass down.
Right. I heard that. I heard that. It's time for us to come together. Let's go to the next guest. Jay, what's going on? Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
What's up, Brother Legend and Smart Sister and Poetic? Poetic. Thank you guys for having me up. In my 20s, black, and age, race, and pronouns he, him.
All right, talk to us.
Yeah, so I mean, particularly throughout the course of listening to the live, at first when I first joined, like I kind of had an idea of like maybe understanding what the explanation of why feminism is anti-black and why pro-life is anti-black, but I didn't quite understand it. I feel like listening in for like the past 2 hours or so, I have a better idea, but I was really hoping, not like I wasn't looking to have like a discussion to go back and forth. I was more if you could kind of really explain or really give me like the beginnings or foundation as to why this is the case, and then also what you would reference to, so that I could actually like read up more about it.
All right.
I know you were talking about like the whole women aspect and Africana something. I can't remember. I apologize.
Yeah, Africana womanism.
Yeah.
So that's a family-centered ideology about how we need to respect our women, and black men and black women need to come together and work together against their oppressor. I would start with, if you really want to dive into why it's imperative that we do that, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. says in the Compensatory Counter Racist Code, Dr. Neely Fuller, Neely, Fuller. Dr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s book talks about how because we're in a system of oppression that sees us as subhuman, that sees us as non-human, because we don't have human rights. So you don't have the right to live, and you don't even have the right to freedom, because the people that create the laws can say that it's illegal for you to do something and lock you up in jail. And that's what happens, Kamala Harris says that she's going to legalize Mary Jane because so many brothers are in prison because of that. It's even, in our community, there's a large amount of brothers in prison just for child support. How does that help the child or the woman? We don't want fathers leaving their children behind, but it doesn't help anyone to lock the father up. So, that's what makes us prisoners of war. So, whether you're a prison actually in a prison or you're a prison outside of a prison that can easily become one, you still need to behave in a manner that your oppressor deems, comfortable.
Acceptable.
There you go. Yeah. So, because of our status as Black people, we are not male. We're not man or woman. We call each other man and woman out of respect for each other. We call each other man and woman because that's the way we want things to be. When they said all men are created equal, we weren't men at that time. Martin Luther King and the sanitation workers marched with signs that say "I'm a man" because sanitation workers were being found unalived, and the government was doing nothing about it. They were just like, So we're not even seen as human. Even Malcolm X said this. Like, how are we going to have civil rights if we don't have human rights? So until we have human rights, we're not man or woman. A man can can guarantee protection of his woman. A man can guarantee provision for his family. We can't guarantee both. We can't even protect ourselves like George Floyd. So that being the case, we are male and female prisoners of war in an open air prison, if you want to call it that, like they do with Gaza. Oh, he fell. He's gone. I'm not sure what happened. But that being the case, for us to say we want to fight for men's rights or women's rights is asinine, because right now, neither men or women in our community have human rights. If you want to dive even deeper into the first talking point to anyone that's listening, y'all can check out Dr. Tommy J. Curry's book, Man Not. Y'all can check out. Is this the third book I'm mentioning? What was the first book? I forgot. The first book, Africana Womanism. And then we talked about Neely Fuller Jr.'s book, The Compensatory Counter-Racist Code. And then the third one is Man Not by Dr. Tommy J. Curry. And he vividly does a comprehensive breakdown on the roots of feminism, the early feminists and suffragettes, and how they were all anti-Black. I'm going to bring Jay back up. You there, Jay?
Yeah, I apologize. My TikTok crashed.
So what I was saying was Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. explains how in the context of racism, white supremacy, we're not seen as men, because when all men were created equal, we weren't considered men. And even now, there's a loophole in the 13th Amendment that can make you not a man again. And then when it comes to women's rights and women, the women's rights movement has never really included Black women's interests. Medical racism and medical apartheid shows that Black women are up to, in some states, 6 times more likely to be unalived giving birth to our children, Black men's children. 6 times more likely to not survive the pregnancy. And that is because of medical racism. Why haven't white women that are supposed to be women's rights activists march for that? But they will get up and march because they're not getting paid the same amount as a white man. You see, and then turn to black women and say you need to march with us. Sojourner Truth in Seneca Falls, if you want to look that up, how the feminist movement at that time, the suffragette movement, told black women, not this time, not right now, y'all. We're trying to get voting rights for us. We'll double back for you guys. We'll be back. So what I'm trying to say is, Tommy J. Curry, he does a much better breakdown than me. He's a doctor in black male studies. But you can check out his book. You can see the correlation, though, between his work, which is centered around telling the stories of black men, and Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., whose work is studying white supremacy as a whole. So in Dr. Fuller's book, he says that we are not seen as men in the context of racism and white supremacy. We are seen as male prisoners of war. Dr. Tommy J. Curry's book is titled Man Not. Tommy J. Curry, like Steph Curry, Tommy Curry. His book is Man Not. And what he's saying is that we are not men. We are seen as man not. We are seen as non-men to the system of white supremacy because, again, we don't have human rights. So if black men and black women would come together and fight for human rights, then maybe we will be awarded some of these man rights and some of these women's rights that, we keep going at each other for. It may be if all people were guaranteed human rights, because black people are now guaranteed human rights, we wouldn't have transphobia, which the root of which is ethnology. You can look it up. He talks about it in his book, Ethnology. The idea that a society is more civilized when there's a clear distinction between the men and the women. So when they came to Africa and there were more gender fluid people there, they said, oh no, this is a primitive culture. And so transphobia is actually rooted in anti-blackness. Fat phobia is also rooted in anti-blackness. The curvature of your behind was seen as sinful to Puritan Christian Europeans because black folks had some junk in the trunk. What else is everything? Ableism, all of it, all the isms, all the phobias are rooted in black people being seen as subhuman and inferior. So maybe if we came together and fought collectively for human rights, we would all have these rights that we're fighting each other and say, no, I'm more oppressed. No, I'm more oppressed. No, let's fight each other. Like, no, I can speak for the black men, but I can also speak to what my sisters have taught me, what's going on with them. I don't have to put one above the other. I can talk about my oppression. I can talk about my sister's oppression because a lot of what she goes through, even though I might go through it less, there are black men that are going through the same thing. So, that's kind of what the first topic is about. Is man not countering the I'm sorry, that's another book. A fourth book, Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys by Dr. Juwanza Kunjufu. If anybody wants to look that one up too. Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. There's a lot of books about this.
So I've read the last one. I will say I have joined the panel in the past and we've given discussions. You've also given me recommendations, which is why I'm back again for another one. Yeah. But the main thing is like if you're familiar with Diop, his book Civilization or Barbarism, that's where I learned the whole idea that we were a matriarchal system.
Right.
Which is why I was kind of a little bit interested in this whole feminism and pro-life thing, is because I'm realizing that the whole idea of like this dynamic of man and women that we are, at least that I've come to know here in the West, and what the role of a man is versus what the role of a woman is. These are all things that are actually just white supremacist systems. And this is not what our actual history looked like. Like when it came to native tribes and tribes within Africa, or even tribes in the Caribbean, this is not how we organized ourselves.
No.
Right.
And I'm still very ignorant on the topic. That's why I'm still trying to find sources or books and stuff that I could read to learn more about what that looked like.
Well, you're seeking the knowledge. That's the best part. You know what I mean? And as a woman, like I said, we were matriarchal. So all this mess and all this red pills and, all these other women talking crazy, it never was like that. We understood our role as women and what part we had in the village, in the lives of our children, everything. Like I always say, people, yeah, the men went out to hunt and did whatever, but it was the woman at home was making the baskets, doing the commerce, building the stuff, fixing the businesses. You see what I'm saying? That goes all the way back. That's what
I
women
mean,
did.
that's the thing, that not that I ever perceived women as being incapable or something, but the main thing for me that really, I guess in a sense kind of made me smile is when I was reading and I realized the amount of leadership roles that women held, like the leadership capabilities.
Of course.
And I know it sounds bad, but this is what I'm trying to
No,
learn
you
about.
are only a product of what you've been taught. You know,
Yes.
one of the queens that I loved in Egypt, Hatshepsut, was a queen that was a pharaoh. She wore the chin piece
Yup.
like the pharaohs. Okay, we have always been respected in the Egyptian culture. You could buy land, you could do stuff. It was nothing where a woman couldn't do that. And if this sister had a long pharaoh chin on and had several husbands, I heard. Ooh, I'm like, come on, girl. You know, women, black women, we've never had been subjugated like that. That's what kills me about some of us, like I said, that are joining this feminist garbage. When we've never had that problem with our men, ever.
And the
Not
thing
until
is,
white folks came into the picture.
yeah, so I'm a Marxist, so socialist communist, but my main thing is although I may be black, the honest truth is my understanding about anything outside of the systems of racism, better said, but my understanding when it comes to racism, really defining racism, understanding the implications of what racism looks like, even when we talk about how feminism is anti-black or how pro-life is anti-black, like all of this feels like a completely new world to me in the sense that like I can understand and see the systems, but I don't really understand it deeply enough, which is why last time you gave me some good recommendations and I just wanted to get some more.
Yes, sir.
Read those. They're great.
Yeah,
And the fact of the matter is, we just got to understand we're under attack. How hard is that to see? You know what I'm saying? With some of us, even like with the AB thing, the pro-life, my behind. It's almost like a black woman's womb is the most dangerous place to be in the last few decades. You know what I mean? We had our baby. We never did that mess. Okay? And these women, oh, they need bodily autonomy. You have it already as a woman. Because if you would take and know that Schmex was sacred and handled your body better rather than getting drunk at the club with some Hennessy and going home and doing whatever and then coming up with a baby and then, oh no, I don't want it. See? That's so far away from who we are as a people. It's insane to me. And I'll tell women all the time, you got complete and total control over that.
And then I don't.
Okay, even now you can take a morning after pill if you forgot everything else, if the rubber broke, if whatever. Go take a morning after pill then. You don't have to be pregnant. Go ahead, nephew.
Yeah, the second one, the point I wanted to make there was on the law. As regards to the law, you know, being placed on black women. Like everything Auntie said is true. The second one, I was thinking more like the law. Like as long as we're oppressed people, making laws about black women's bodies is going to be, it's going to lead to problems. Like white men making laws about black women's bodies is going to be a problem. Now, at the same time, spiritually and consciously, everything that Smart Sister said, I agree with. The idea of just the law being that, you know, we're going to have punishment, you know, because right now, for example, you know, I'm in Texas. If me and my wife were to get pregnant and that pregnancy were to endanger her, already with medical racism, it's more likely to endanger her because, like I said, in some states, it's 2 and 3 times, but up to 6 times more likely she won't survive. And so if there is a complication that endangers her life, and an abortion is needed, we wouldn't be able to do that in the state of Texas, to the point where Texas has even changed the law where if you go outside the state and get an abortion, then they will, when you come back to Texas, they'll arrest you. So now my wife is being put into the prison industrial complex because she chose to live, because a law was made over her body. You see what I'm saying? And medical racism has made it harder for her to live and have a
Right.
baby at the same time. So in the second one, I'm talking about the law. But as far as our law, as far as God's law and the Creator, I
Exactly. I understand. But
yeah,
I thought in the case of a woman's life, you can't not do that because you're automatically endangering her life. I thought though it was okay for the health, for
yeah,
incest, and for S8 or whatever. I
yeah,
didn't know.
yeah. I thought
I'm
so
sorry.
too. I looked up the law in Texas. It's not the case here. In
What?
Texas, yeah, in Texas, they already had a case like this, and there's another case where the woman left Texas and had the abortion, and yeah, she's in trouble. She's in hot water. So, in
And I know
Texas,
Mike Pence crazy ass in Indiana. A woman had a miscarriage and they tried to say she had one and was gonna
yeah,
lock her up. I understand. I mean that part, yeah, I
yeah,
get it.
that
I get
yeah.
it.
No, I get what
Mhm.
you're saying. Everything that you're saying, I agree with that 1,000%.
Mhm.
It's just when they make laws on our bodies, that's always when we're talking about white people here. Like,
Right.
it's going to be a
Right.
problem.
When
Yeah.
they catch a cold, we get pneumonia.
Right.
Okay.
And
No, I get it.
I know I don't want to hog up too much of the panel in case you wanted to talk to opposition and stuff. But my thing is I don't know if you heard about the whole DOD directive that just got passed on the 27th.
What's
What's
Department of
that?
Defense? Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't.
DOD directive, I think it's 524201, I believe. I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
Someone can quote me. But what this directive gives is the military and the law enforcement the right to be able to use lethal force against citizens in any situation in which they deem necessary,
Mhm.
with 72 hours of unchecked approval. So they can, if any officer believes that it's necessary, they get 72 hours of just clear approval. Things like that start to scare me when I realize the hyperpolarization that we're currently in America and stuff. And then on my whole ignorance of this topic in and of its entirety, it's like I feel like we're kind of on the precipice of something that's gonna get worse, I guess, in a sense. And I
Of course.
yeah, and I feel like
You
there's a
know
lot
why
more that
you
gotta be
know the
poured out.
saltines are gonna always put stuff in there. And then what you gotta do though is when they flash that over here, you gotta look on the other side and see what they really talk about. You know what I
Mm.
mean? They say a lot of stuff and give you a distraction, but the smart thing to do is read into that and then figure out what else they're doing. Okay,
Yeah, I
because
mean
that's
that's the thing.
anytime
This
they're
directive,
telling you it's a distraction. They're
but
not telling you to help you.
at the same time is when we got some other major news things. So I feel like those were the distractions, and this update to the
Hmm.
directive was silent because I didn't
But
see it on the
Right.
news. I didn't see anything about it really.
yeah.
See? Propaganda
Yeah.
Hmm.
to instill fear, right?
So
That's the main thing, and especially during this whole political thing. Let's
Yeah.
instill some fear.
Right. That's the thing, right? Because why is this happening under a Biden presidency, right? He's supposed to be all, for the people and whatnot. So, I'm sure that would have had an effect on Kamala's campaign as well. She's supposed to,
Right.
so.
and then this is just my final question, then I'll head off. As far as I know the solution as far as what that is, and I'm still really conceptualizing exactly the details of what that is, but I know it really boils down to some form of equity and justice within, like, restructuring, dismantling the system entirely and restructuring the system, and also some form of repayment, right? But my thing is on this whole question of separating, whether it be by ethnic or culture or race, if we started the process of dismantling the system or looking to fight against the system, let's say we made some headway, what would the organization of people look like between races? Or at least, what do you feel that should look like in that sense? Because I guess my main question is, how do you really fix I think someone used the word earlier, but I forget the word I'm looking for. Really just that relationship between groups and people just at the local and community level. Should they be organized and separated while we're in the process of trying to dismantle the systems, giving the safety to Black people, or should we find another way to kind of incorporate everything in a sense, if that makes sense?
How do you run from Freddy Krueger or Jason and find a way to work with them at the same time?
Yeah, so
You know, it's we've had, you know, if you depending on where you want to start the timeline, 1,000 years, 500 years, specifically of white supremacy as we know it today, or you could go back as far as 4,000 years to the Hyksos invasion of Egypt. So I mean,
I'm sorry. I guess better what my question looks like is, what will the process of that separation look like? Like, what should we do while we're trying to dismantle the system? Should we try and build
Dr.
just
Amos
Black
Wilson.
communities? Oh, okay.
Dr.
What was
Amos
his name?
Wilson, the blueprint for Black Power.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Amos Wilson. He solved that and told us what the answer was. The answer is that we need. Well, Barbara Sizemore talks about what we can do here in America, but globally, we need a free Africa. We need an Africa with self-determination. We need Africans to rip off the neo-colonial chains, to free themselves from that neo-colonial oppression, and then they can create economies like Ibrahim Traore is doing in Burkina Faso. So now they're creating their own economies, their own wealth. They have their own currency backed by their own work and their own resources. Appreciate you, Chanel. Peace to Chanel. Appreciate you, sis. But yeah, so then now that let's say what's happening in Burkina Faso happens everywhere. Now we have Kuji Chakulia. We have the self-determination where everything that's going on with our people is funded by us and our labor. And so we don't need anyone else. We don't. We're the only people that don't. Every element found on the elemental table, on the periodic table, is found in Africa. We don't need anyone else. Everyone else needs to figure out how to get along with us.
Thank you.
We don't need anyone else. We're the only, Russia's going to need us at some point. China's going. That's why they're trying to, step in here and there and trying to cozy up to us, and as we detach from the oppressor in the West. So they're gonna need us. They are in resource deprived environments. We don't need anybody. So all we have to do is take back control of our own land, our own Africa, and then you'll see that the same way we had the year of coming home. I forgot the name of it in Ghana. Where they extended their hand to the diaspora and said, "Come on back home." You're going to see that Black nations that are now independent will understand that they have a strategic advantage. Oh, year of return, that's what it's called. Yeah. So they'll understand that they have a strategic advantage in having people in every country on earth, a community in every country on earth, where imagine a bank in a Black American neighborhood that is called, I don't know, the Ubuntu Bank. And it's backed by the gold in Ghana, where it's untouched by the white man, and we have our own loans that we can get. And the owners of that bank understand that we were enslaved here in the United States, so they're just giving us grants. They're giving us loans. They understand what happened, and they want us to buy up America as much as we can. And now we have our own communities where we're not dependent on a dollar with a slave owner's face.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's where we start to fix things. Haiti would be our African, military base in the West because it's strategically positioned where the Mississippi River meets the Gulf of Mexico. Haiti would be great, and it has the largest deposits of iridium
Mm-hmm.
Another element that
It's needed.
that's very
Mm-hmm.
much needed. So there's just a lot that we could do just by just taking back what is already ours and
Thank
taking
you.
the white man's head out of our pocket.
I
Right.
will I
And
will say, yeah, that's kind of my I like Burkina Faso and studying the global south and the empirical core and seeing the implications of all of that stuff. That was actually my interest that really got me to really want to start like the process of learning more about like how race plays into it. So I definitely agree. Getting the economic power and the sovereignty and the self-determination in Africa is definitely that is the highest priority. So sounds
Right.
good. And then being able to go
Right.
back and having the right to be able to return. Okay.
right,
And the fact that 11 countries offer American black people dual citizenship. See, we need to take advantage of that. 11 different African countries. So imagine we got dual citizenship. So then that means we can send money over there and do stuff. They can send us. We can go back and forth. And the thing about America only understands power. Why did the Chinese and those Japanese Asians get the executive order for the crime? Or what? Why? United States got to deal with China and Japan. See, whenever you got a homeland, a motherland, why did the Jews get their money? You see what I'm saying? It's always based on what's the power outside of the United States that they got to deal with, that they will give you your stuff. Now imagine what we'll get when you build all that up with all these countries and have dual citizenship and get your money flowing. Because I'm looking up now how to get to Ibrahim Traore's new bank that they set up. Not go through all these other financial things. No, no, no. I'm trying to get to how do we directly go there and fund his stuff. Because that's the main reason why they unalived Gaddafi. Because he was talking about putting gold behind their money. See, our money ain't based on nothing but debt. We just print money when we need it. That's why you got inflation. It's not based on anything. It doesn't mean anything, right? But so these countries, these African countries that can do that and have the ability to back it with gold, then it's gonna be a whole new ball game. And I hear also Burkina Faso and the other two countries are also looking at joining BRICS.
mm,
And BRICS is what's going on with that, right? So financially, think about if all the African countries even joined BRICS and started their own thing, and BRICS had to deal with them. You see what I'm saying?
right.
That's how you think about power. See, we don't understand a lot of times what power is. Because power is you can do what you want to do and don't give a damn and can't nobody say shit. To be perfectly honest, in street terms, that's what power is. But as long as you always beholden somebody, well, that speaks to the last prompt he got on there about no pro-black political party. How? Because they know, if we say anything, these Negroes, we're going to lose our base, because it's white supremacy. So how can we speak to the issues of somebody black? Why do you think Kamala coming out with that weak ass shit? Love and what's his name? I can't stand him. Lord Van Jones talking about she wrote a love letter to black men. Are you fucking kidding me? I just can't. I just Lord that brother. I don't even want to call him a brother. That man with melanin in him gonna sit up there and say a love letter to black now because her numbers are tanking with black men. Here she go. Oh well, I need to legalize marijuana. Oh, so every black man smoke marijuana, and you think you really gonna get to the majority of them intelligent black men by saying you gonna legalize weed? Don't that tell you how this stuff goes?
Yeah, it do.
See, any little thing, it's crazy.
That was something. Except the funny thing is, she was already planning. Supposedly, according to Charlemagne, she was already planning on doing all that anyway. She just put it in a nice, neat little. This is what I think black men care about, and I was going to already do anyway. But yeah, she was already going to do that. And the loans that she's supposed to, I'm not sure if they're loans or grants, but the money she's supposed to give out to black entrepreneurs, it says and others in the thing.
Absolutely.
So it's like, She giving that to everybody. That's not just for black people, and she's legalizing marijuana for everybody. So,
but I'm a couch. It's just like that. Get your booty to the polls.
yeah.
Have you seen that video, Legend?
No,
I saw that.
Oh
video.
yeah, I did see
It was
that.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
The strippers on the pole.
yeah.
That's what they think
really-
about you, black man.
They
And,
are
and
really
so
trying
many
to
of us
push.
fall for it. Go ahead, Poetic. I'm sorry.
No, but you're absolutely right. I think that it's completely a ridiculous notion to think that this is what black men want.
Yeah.
But like both, I'm going to say any political party, especially within the United States, they have their tokens, and they're going to utilize them as chess pieces in order to further manipulate and subjugate us into voting for the interests of YT supremacy.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, that's all the topics, man. That's we did it.
Well, thank you guys. I honestly do appreciate it. And yes, I am hoping as this U.S. empire starts to fall and we enter a new multipolar world that it will strengthen Africa. Maybe
Absolutely.
not in 2 years, but at
The
least
only way. Well, thank you,
guys. I'll
young
be back
man.
again when I finish reading these books, and I'll come back and talk about it then. So,
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you, young man, for reading and being open.
well, you guys have a good day. Thank you.
All right.
You too.
All right. One love. All right. Yeah, man. That's the kind of brothers we like. That's what we like. Y'all coming up here and talking about the scholars, talking about some of their work, and just sharing the books with y'all. I watch a lecture, I read a book, and then I do the prompt. That's why I come up here. So I understand the material before I come up here. I'm not one of those that just say something wild out of his emotions and then think he's gonna come on TikTok and piss everybody off and mess your day up. When we're talking about feminism, I'm talking about Tommy J. Curry. We're talking about pro-life is anti-black. That's something you can just look up. But you can look up medical apartheid. I forgot the author.
That's the book. What is that book?
Yeah,
the
medical.
author? I can't remember.
I'm about to bring it up. Medical apartheid. It's been a minute. By Harriet Washington. Yeah, Harriet A. Washington.
Right.
Medical apartheid.
Yes.
So yeah, that's where you can understand, what black women are going through, and now the law being placed on their body is a problem. But all
the gynecological procedures pretty much they experimented on black women, and all women know about that speculum that they got to put in to open you up to look at your uterus. Well, how did they build it? Putting spoons in black women,
right?
And developing that piece of equipment. So yeah,
we talked about Mary Jane too much. TikTok is telling me live restricted for some audiences because we're talked about regulated goods content.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Yeah, so we talked about Mary Jane. Live visibly restricted. Live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results. Oh man, they try and take me down discussing drugs or other regulated substances. That's what it says. I got 2 restrictions.
Wow.
Here we go.
I wonder if somebody reported though. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, because
probably. You sat down some folks and kind of
I hope I didn't get no strikes.
some folks. So.
Yeah, I did. I hope we didn't get no strikes. But I'm gonna take it down, y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming and appreciate Smart Sister Poetic. Thanks for joining and hosting. And don't forget, y'all can join the Discord, b1initiative.org. We're building Sankofapedia, a free Afrocentric online encyclopedia to teach brothers and sisters about Afrocentrism from a world perspective. And I'll catch y'all next time. One love. Free Haiti, free Congo, free Libya, Sudan, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, the United States, free all the black people there, Jamaica and the Caribbean, Brazil, everybody everywhere. Black